Hi everyone, this is Kenji here. I'm a freediving instructor and an underwater photographer. You don't often see me on the screen because I'm always the one behind the camera. I've been shooting underwater for years now, and over the time, I've received tons of questions about my images. How do I shoot it? What is my setting, and especially, what gear do I use? Since I just got my hand on the new underwater housing, which I'm going to talk about in this video, I thought that would be a great opportunity to kick things off and share some of my experience with you all, starting with the housing I use. So for the years, even before I have learned how to freedive, I've been using the Seafrog housing with my Sony a7 III. It has been my go-to setup since day one, and it has been with me on so many dives, and it helped me to capture my favorite images. And if you know me, you might already know black and white is my go-to aesthetic for freediving. But recently, you might have seen me holding a bright orange colored housing. That's because I've gotten my hands on the new upgraded Sotaline series from Seafrog Hong Kong. I have been using this for a little while now, and some of my friends ask, what's the difference about it? What is my fault? Is this better, or should they upgrade if they're using the old model? So today I want to share some feedback on it, my personal review, comparing it to my old trusty housing to the new Sotaline series, whether you should upgrade as a current user, and why I think that it is not only for professional but also good for beginner, all from a perspective of a freediving photographer. So let's put them side by side. From a distance, they look quite similar. But when you get up close, you start to see the refinement that really matters. The first thing I noticed, and honestly, it gives me so much more peace of mind, are the new latches. Look at the old housing. They are made of plastic. They work for sure. But I always had a little bit of anxiety about them getting locked, especially when I shoot without the handle, when I'm touching it with my hand. Now, this Sotaline used this new stainless steel latches that lock down with this really satisfying secure kick. For me, that added confidence is huge. The other features that I wanted for so long is the LCD window here. It's much bigger than the old one. This was a major pain point for me in the old models. With the upgrade, it completely changed how I shoot in different situations, especially as a freedivers. We often shoot in dynamic and a fast-moving situation. For example, when shooting diver interactions or fast-moving creatures like dolphin, fish, or even seal, you can never expect when and where they come from. In other situations like when it's wavy or when shooting in shallow water where there can be a lot of light reflections. You may need to shoot at angles sometimes, as you can't always put the screen right in front of you. The bigger windows allow me to see my compositions more clearly and lock in my focus at different angles, which means less miss the shot. About the control, this new housing added the new fun control wheels here. I'm able to map my shutter speed to this new front dial, just feels so much more natural and fast. On the old housing, I had to change the setting with the top dials, hands off the handles, which could feel a little bit clumsy when I need to change the setting quickly. But with the new front dial, I could just stay in the moment. The other day, I was tracking a school of dragfish, and the lights kept changing as it kept moving at the water column. With the front dial, I could adjust my shutter speed with my index finger without even taking my eyes off an object or fumbling with the back of camera. It just makes the whole process smoother and more intuitive, so I can focus on creating the shot that I want. Finally, it's just small details, but the overall feelings of the button is better. It might not be a big deal when you are comparing them dry. However, when you are going underwater and the water pressure increases as you go deeper, it makes a big difference. The new one is more responsive. The recoil is more positive when you are changing different settings. The back control wheel is also smoother. Now I'm more confident that I have the correct shooting mode without double checking. The whole thing just feels like a more premium with 5 pieces of equipment comparing to the old one. So always changing the improvement that can actually help me to shoot the way that I want. So after using both, what is my final verdict? I want to talk to two groups of people, the existing Seafrog users and the people who want to buy their first ever housing. If you're like me and you have been using the existing model for a while, I honestly think that the upgrade is a no-brainer. Of course, you can still get away with the old one and creating good shots out of it, but I'm sure you will love the new model even more. The improvement of the latches, the bigger LCD screen, the fun dial and the buttons are the significant upgrade that will benefit you on every single dive. So the best part is the transition is seamless. The camera go in exactly the same way as the older models. So basically, there's no new learning curve to worry about. If you're a new buyer looking for your first ever underwater housing for your camera, I think this is incredible to start with. I have been using this housing across different camera bodies, A7 III, A7 R4, etc. And I have always been impressed by the value and performance they offer. Based on my experience with the shoulder line, I'm confidently say that when I eventually upgrade my camera, and which I already did, Seafrog Hong Kong will still be one of my top choices and will continue to suggest this to others. Talking about the most concerned for most people is the budget. As a starter, you might not want to spend too much on it. So for the things you get, and the pricing of this brand is super friendly. For like a few $100 US, you have everything to get you started. And other than the housing itself, what is the most important? Their customer service is also impressive and they have never let me down. If I need any help for my housing, or the reply from Instagram or WhatsApp is quick. Even if I'm in urgent situations, they can be reached out easily and have my problems solved swiftly. One more thing that should put into considerations, and what made me to go for this brand at my first place, is because of its lighter weight. I travel a lot for my freediving trips, therefore it's that heavy metal housing is just not my thing. Of course, there's still a lot of general pros and cons and other little things that I can talk about, but I want to keep this video focused on this light housing. If you have any specific questions about this housing, or need any tips on underwater photography, feel free to comment below or DM me on my Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.